Hi, it's Jean. Mixed Media Monday, yay! So I have a couple things I want to show you. What I've been working with today are these manila coin envelopes. And I've had these forever. I think I bought a box of them a long time ago at Staples, and we don't even have a Staples here anymore. So let me show you one of the pieces that I'm not sure if I have a totally... Okay. This is to the step that I'm at right now. So when I purchased some things from Temu, one of the things that I purchased were these little booklets of pieces of paper. And they are really cute, but can't be used for a whole lot of things. So I saved some, and I'm going to show you my process of decorating these little envelopes. I think I saved some. Let me see if I have any over here. Give me a second. These are just floral. These are postcard and sticker, so not what I want. Okay, they're here just a little farther back. Okay, so this one I don't remember what it was called or how long I've had it, but these are some floral images. So the process of this is actually pretty simple. So you would need some type of surface. If you're using a coin envelope, you can use a regular envelope. You can use just a card if you have one, a square piece of some scrap paper that you have laying around, whatever you have that you can use as your base or your substrate, what we call it. So after that, what we would do then is we would glue on, because we need some images. So make sure you have some images available. Doesn't have to be this little paper. It can be images that you've cut out of a magazine or a book, whatever you have on hand. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just choose one of these images, and I'm going to apply it to the coin envelope. And I'm actually using the front side. The seam is where the back side is. Okay, so I'm using the front side of the envelope, and I'm putting on the image. So we'll just do a couple of those. So we will have a few ready. Here's a pretty red one. I always have to check and make sure it's only one page when I get them out of these little, like, tablet little packets, because they're stuck together. And what I do also with these is I try to position them in different ways. Like some I put down at the bottom. This one I put kind of in the middle. And then let's see, this one, I think this is pretty, so we'll use this one right here. Okay, so we have 3 here. And I'm just going to glue these on because they are going to be kind of like, not really a focal point, because when you're doing mixed media, a lot of things get covered up. And it seems like a futile process, but the layers is what makes it so interesting. So here we have 3 envelopes that we have applied our images to. So you may have your piece of scrap paper or whatever, and you've adhered your images. The next thing we want to do is make some kind of stamping on this. Now, I had used some little tiny stamps that I had, but I'm mad with them because they show the whole, or they're not raised up enough. And what happens then is you often get the corners. So let me see what I can grab down here that I know will be better. Let me see what I have. Okay, this one's fine. So this one's just a swirly thing. It's a foam stamp, so you don't really need a block with it. Let me take these away and put these up here so you can see a little bit better. So this one is a little bit bigger than the one that I used for my other envelopes, but that's okay. It's a really pretty flourish. You can put it on wherever you want. Half off the page. So that's why it's good to have like a little bit of scrap paper or magazine or whatever underneath, so that you can, when you design these, you're actually able to put some of the image off to the side. That one looks nice. So I'm going to see if I can get a big one here. So the idea is to just continue to stamp different places. You can stamp up on the flap wherever you want. So there we have our stamped images. So that is our second layer. Now, after that, I'm going to use some spray ink. Now, if you don't have any dilution spray ink, you can go to the Dollar Tree and you can get some spray bottles, and you can buy yourself some really cheap acrylic paint and mix it with water. And you have to mix it really, really good. And I would mix it, if you can, before putting the spray portion in, because if you mix it with the sprayer in, it can get clogged with the paint until the paint is completely mixed. So that's an easy and inexpensive way to make yourself some spray. So the 2 colors that I have available are a pink and a purple. And I'm actually going to do 3 sprays of each on each one. Now, since I sprayed this so lightly, it's going to dry pretty fast. And sometimes I just try to barely squeeze so I can get a drip instead of a spray, if you know what I mean. Oops, that missed it completely. That way it's a little bit different than the pink one. Now I do need to take a paper towel. Hallelujah. Where are the paper towels? Okay. Who knows? But we'll just take, we'll just turn them over like this. And that'll sop up any of the ink. So these two got a little bit more ink on them than the other one. So I'm going to lay these two aside because they're going to take longer to dry. This one I think is already okay, with the exception of down here, which is fine. We're not going to put anything right there. So then, after we do that, we're going to take our dauber and any kind of brown that you have. I'm actually going to, on this set, use a color called Aged Mahogany. It comes out kind of a reddish, but I'm going to use that, and it's an oxide, so it's going to come out a lot darker. So I'm just lightly going to go around the edges to give it a more defined look. I enjoy inking up things. I don't do it as much as, or I should say, it's not that I don't do it. I forget to do it a lot of times. So there is this wonderful inked up and sprayed and stenciled envelope. Okay. Now we can go on to the next step. The next step is to add something that is three-dimensional. And I'm actually going to wait because I don't think I have any more of my little butterflies cut out. So we may use something else. So we're going to skip the three-dimensional stage and we're going to go on to some stenciling. Now, for stenciling, you can use any kind of stencil you have. If you don't have a stencil, you can use sometimes doilies will work. Other types of material other than a stencil. You can get these though for pretty inexpensive at different places like Dollar Tree or wherever. I just have a bunch of them. I have Tim Holtz ones and different ones. So what I'm doing here is I'm just taking my modeling paste and I'm getting some on my palette knife and I'm scraping through so that I have a little bit of dimension on this piece. Give me a second. It's hard to do one-handed. This stuff is thicker than you would think it would be. So there, and we'll do a tiny bit up here onto the envelope. Okay, so I want you to notice, do you see right here where I went over the edge? What you can do with that is just take your palette knife or a towel, whatever you have, and just kind of scrape it like this, and it comes right off. Okay, now this Tim Holtz brand is, well, this is not Tim Holtz, I don't think. I think it's just Ranger brand. It's opaque. So what that means is it's going to show on your design as white unless you would color it another color. Now you can take a piece of plastic and you can drop a little drop of ink, anything like that, right in it, and you would have, and mix it up together, and you would have a different color. So you can colorize this particular texture paste. Okay, so there we go. We're done with that part. So far we have some inking, we have some spray ink, we have some an image, and we have some stamping. And you could stop right there, but there's one thing that I like to do, and I'm just going to take, I don't think I have an orange. Let me try orange, because that'll break up some of this pink and purple we're dealing with here. And I'm going to put a little bit of orange paint just on this little piece of scrap paper. And I am going to borrow this marker. I borrowed it for the pink. All you need is something round. It can be solid or it can be hollow. And I'm just going to stamp some orange, and I'll stamp 3 orange, but one of them I'm going to stamp halfway off of the image. So there you get a little bit different color going on there, and I really like that. And because you're using it as like dry and not with water, it'll dry faster for you, and it'll dry with a little bit of texture on it, if you can see that. So after that, on my other ones, I had cut out my butterflies and put on them, but I don't think I have any left that are small. I have to print another sheet. So what I'm going to do, lastly, let me see if I can find the right thing here. Now, you may be more of a paint, give me a second here. You may be more of a paint expert than what I am, but I'm just going to put this right here because I don't want paint to go all over the place. But I don't really have any particular painting skills. So normally when this process is done, which I call spattering, it's usually done with a fan brush. However, I don't have one of those. So you can take any brush as long as you have a wet enough paint, and hopefully this will be wet enough because I don't have any water right here other than my drinking water. And then I spatter this on, and the cool thing is when you spatter this on, it actually comes up in like stripes, or should I say stringy? I don't know how to describe it, but it's not all just spattered. So I think it gives it a really cool look. Let me get something down here. It gives it a very cool overall look. So here is my version of taking this little coin envelope and dressing it up a bit. Now, not everything on here is completely dry. The modeling paste is almost dry, but the paint we just added is not. So I don't want to try to disturb that paint. But I want to show you on one of the other envelopes. I'm going to put my paint there because I'll end up making a mess all over myself. And you know me, I'm Jean with the messy desk. So I'm going to leave this one to dry, and I'm going to pull this one out. And if we're going in order, we would use the stencil next. And I am actually going to use the stencil next, but I'm going to use it differently. And I'm trying to determine what color I want to use. I might try this green. So I'm just going to get the same stencil, but I'm going to kind of lay it in the middle. Don't know if I can do it like this or not, so we will see. It may only just stain the outside. This would be... No, it's not coming through. Okay, we'll use this. We should be able to use green over top of this. Okay, so I'm just going to go with this stencil, and I'm going to take my green ink, and I'm just going to go over it in a couple places. Now, you can't really see it super well, but here's a little bit, and down here's a little bit, and I'm not sure. Let me think here. Let me see. Let me see what other color I have on this little stack here. I have a purple, which we already have a lot of purple in this design, but we'll give it a go and see what it looks like. Let me use it more over here on the yellow. Okay, it gave it a couple more blotches anyway. Yeah, I like it. Kind of cool. And that's what it is about when you are doing mixed media. You just try different things. And let's say you didn't really care for how it turned out. You can always put something else over top of it. For example, a gesso or your modeling paste or whatever you have. So let me go ahead and see if this orange is still dry and not or wet enough. And I want to see if I have something. Okay, let me use the other side. Whoopsie. I don't need that anymore anyway. I'm going to use the other side of this this pencil. And I'm going to see if I can get some more solid. Oh, there we go. Those are cute. This one's going to be a spotty one. And then let me show you real quick how you can mix a little bit into the modeling paste. What do I have that I can mix that on? Something plastic, and I don't have anything right here. So let me just do it on here. I'm going to take, what other color of paint do I have hiding here? None. Okay. So I wish I had some green handy, but I don't. That's why you should never try this at home unless you have water. Okay, what is it that I want to use? I'm going to use a teeny bit of this pink. So you need the very, very tiniest bit, and you just mix it in here. If you guys can see that. You mix it in, and it makes your modeling clay look a different color. Let me get another stencil, because I know where they are, at least. Okay. I'll try this one. I'm going to try this middle one. So let me move this guy out of the way. And I want to try, I don't know if I'm going to be able to, so let's do this. I don't really care for this right here on the edge that over stamped. So I'm going to use one of these edges. Let's see if I can hold it and paint it at the same time. And there it draws the attention away from that. Let me do another one right here. And I love this pink. Don't you guys think the pink's nice? We'll do a bigger one right here. And I want to pull it this way. And I need to pull off this piece right here because that's in the way. Let me see if I can get this middle on here. I'm just going to lay it down lightly and hopefully it won't mess up the other pieces. Okay, so what's happening here is I'm putting it over that orange circle we made. So it's picking up the orange paint, which I don't hate that. You can't really see it, but I kind of like that, where it's maybe picking up like an ombre style. So really neat little really neat little design there. So there needs to be something over here. Use this last little bit that I have over here. It won't be very much. And of course, that got squished. But remember, this is pretty much forgiving, so you can take this off to a point. It's probably was a little bit too dry, but I'm going to go right over it so it won't be a terrible mess. And actually, with mixed media, messes are kind of like fun. Because anyone who's done like jelly plate or anything like that, it is really fun. So we fixed that part. We added a couple little pieces here. We'll add another. Do I have enough? We'll add a little bit down here. Just whatever it'll take with my palette knife. And then we have turned that opaque into pink. So there are two completely different designs. Now this one, I think it picked up the little bit of green or the blue, probably because I don't wash my stencils. I don't wash off my stencils like I should, so. But I like the orange, and I like that I can still see some of the design. Now, one of the things with this one is that the purple that I sprayed right over the flower in the middle, so you can't see it as well. And that's why I added this piece here, because I think it'll compensate for making that mistake. So for now, I'm going to let these two dry, and then I will come back with a part 2 so that you can see how I decorated some of the other ones that have the butterflies on them. These don't have any spattering, and I do want to do some spattering, but I want to do it with some green ink. This one doesn't have anything up here, so I may do some stenciling with some ink. So there's all kinds of things that you can do to make your piece look more appealing and more textural and more mixed media, if that's a word. But thank you guys so much for stopping by. I hope this little video was informative for you and that you will enjoy making some envelopes or coin envelopes coin envelopes with me as well. So you all have a good night, and I'll talk to you later. See you soon.